Happy New Year's! Seeing that it's the first video that I'm making of the year, I decided, you know what, maybe I'll say that. It's a couple of days late, but you know what, whatever. Now, there's been a lot of things happening this new year. Hope you've had some nice wine, some nice alcoholic beverages to have with your New Year's ball drop party. But time for some serious news. So, we've had a lot of things happen within the 5 days of this new year. From things ranging like Epstein's list being finally released and somebody jumping a judge at some court. A lot of crazy new things, right? But one thing that we did not expect at all from this, or at least I didn't, was aliens. Aliens exist. Now, to preface this, unfortunately, I'm not a real believer of aliens. I don't actually believe they exist. But today might be the day that changes. So there's been some footage floating around on Twitter of a bunch of cops driving towards a mall. Basically, that's kind of what the footage is. And there's been a lot of reports of people talking about like seeing aliens and like 6-10 foot gray tall figures with big shadows, and they just look like stereotypical aliens, I guess. And at first I was skeptical. I was like, okay, well, maybe it's just a parade, right? Just cops going around being like, yeah, New Year's, let's go, baby. But the report of what they were saying was happening seemed a little off. So before we delve into that, let me show you the footage of the police.
Para que sean testigos de cuando se produce una llamada a todas las unidades.
As you can tell, that's a lot of police. And you might be thinking, holy shit, like, there must be like a fucking terrorist threat or something in there. You know, just call the entire city's police force, every single unit, all hands on deck. But the report that they said was that it was a couple of teenagers lighting fireworks in a mall. Now, I don't know about you, but teenagers with fireworks, the entire city of Miami's police force. I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like there's a bit of a something's not right with this. Now, after this, there were a lot of reports about people saying, oh shit, it's aliens and stuff, right? And a lot of news anchors and news outlets are saying like, oh, well, these people are fucking stupid. It's just a hoax. But I don't know, man. Like, just the amount of police there are. There's a lot of police. And that doesn't seem normal. I'm just saying, that's not right. That seems strange. But also, in terms of any other evidence that we may be looking at, because, like, you know, every single folklore or like alien sighting has to be taken with like a 1950s era CCTV camera that they ripped off of like some convenience store. But there isn't any. There is no footage. Yeah, so there is no footage of anything that happened inside that mall. People are saying that like, oh, well, I was trying to record with my phone for the aliens. There is no footage, right? So, case closed. Case shut, right? There's no recordings of the aliens, therefore there are no aliens. There's no proof. But there are no recordings of the teenagers with the fireworks either. Like, there's just no recordings in general. And you may be wondering why. Well, we don't have any answers to that. But just isn't that a little strange? That if there were teenagers lighting fireworks in the mall and people were panicking, wouldn't there be at least some footage of inside the mall? Wouldn't there be at least somebody pulling a camera out. Like, it's a mall, right? Like, everyone's got their phones. It's not like it's like school or something where, like, they confiscate your phones and then, you're just or you gotta like hide that shit in the fucking bathroom to like browse TikTok for your, to fucking cope with your addiction. But like, there's no footage. How is there no footage? And that's a question you have to ask yourself. What are they hiding from us? Aliens. Maybe they're real. You know what? And I kind of feel like at this point, the argument that there are aliens somehow makes more sense than they're not being aliens. Just because of like the amount of cops there and like the fact that there's no recorded footage of anything inside the mall. Like if it were teenagers, somebody would have recorded that, right? Like everyone's got a smartphone nowadays. Like there's no fucking excuse, right? You don't need like you don't need a camcorder to bring with you. This isn't like the 80s. You don't need your fucking VCRs and mini cassette tapes and shit. Like, we have phones. So, aliens? I'll leave that to you to think about. But that's kind of all I wanted to talk about today. That was really, really fun. Just seeing a lot of footage about aliens and how everybody's just talking about, like, everybody's having these, like, wild conspiracy theories about it. Like, some people are saying that, like, it's covering up, like, the fucking Epstein, list thing that's, like, kind of currently coming out. And, like, others are saying that, like, it's just a hoax and all that, and, like, people are just getting out of hand on the fucking internet and whatever. But I'm just saying, we don't have much evidence. And while I'm generally the kind of person that, like, you have to provide the evidence, but maybe the lack of evidence is evidence in itself. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And thank you for coming by.